Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about plasmid isolation. Before going into plasmid isolation, let's know about plasmid. Plasmid is a small circular double-stranded DNA molecule that is distinct from a cell's chromosomal DNA. Plasmids naturally exist in bacterial cells and they also occur in some eukaryotes. Plasmids have a wide range of lengths from roughly 1000 DNA base pairs to hundreds of thousands of base pairs. Bacteria can also transfer plasmids to one another through a process called conjugation. Scientists have taken advantage of plasmids to use them as tool to clone, transfer and manipulate genes. Plasmids that are used experimentally for these purposes are called vectors. Generally, we use alkaline lysis method for plasmid isolation. For the isolation of plasmid, we need overnight bacterial culture grown at 37 degrees Celsius. The overnight bacterial culture, which is kept in incubation for 12 to 16 hours, should be transferred to the 2 ml Eppendorf in the laminar airflow chamber to avoid other contaminations. The culture is transferred to the Eppendorf by the 1 ml pipette with a sterile tip for the harvesting of bacterial cells. The bacterial cells, which is transferred to the 2 ml Eppendorf, has to be centrifuged for 12,000 rpm for 1 minute for the harvesting of bacterial cells. After centrifugation, the cells will be separated from the media and pelleted down at the bottom of the tube. The media will be discarded using the pipette. After discarding the supernatant, we have to add 200 microliter of solution 1, which is the resuspension buffer. It contains tris HCl, EDTA and glucose. Tris HCl will maintain the pH. EDTA will prevent the DNAs from damaging the plasmid and glucose will maintain the osmotic pressure. After adding 200 microliter of solution 1, we have to vortex the cells for 5 minutes to enhance the cell wall breakage. Then we have to freshly prepare solution 2, which is called as lysis buffer. It contains distilled water, 10% SDS and 10 normal NaOH. For preparing 2 ml of solution 2, we have to add 200 microliter of 10% SDS and 40 microliter of 10 normal NaOH, and we have to make up the volume of solution 2 to 2 ml using distilled water. For preparing the lysis buffer, the NaOH in the solution 2 will dissolve the cell membrane and thus the inner components of the cell including the DNA will come out. The dissolution process happens when NaOH along with SDS break the double helix and denature them into single helix. After vortexing the cells, we have to add freshly prepared solution 2 to the Eppendorf and we have to gently invert the tubes. After adding 200 microliter, we have to keep those mixture into ice for 5 minutes. After the incubation of 5 minutes on ice, we have to add neutralizing buffer or solution 3, which contains potassium or sodium acetate and acetic acid. Uh, Potassium acetate results in a high salt concentration that leads to the formation of a white precipitate that consists of SDS, lipids and proteins. In addition, the neutralization of the solution allows the renaturation of DNA. The large chromosomal DNA is captured in the precipitate, whereas the small plasmid DNA remains in solution. After the addition of solution 3, we have to immediately centrifuge at 12,000 rpm 10 minutes to remove the precipitate and chromosomal DNA. After centrifugation, the supernatant is collected in the fresh tube and the pellet is discarded. The precipitate and chromosomal DNA will be pelleted by the centrifugation and the supernatant will contain the plasmid. Then we have to add 5 microliter of RNAs to the supernatant collected in the tube, which helps to digest unwanted RNA from the plasmid sample. After adding RNase A, we have to keep the setup at 37 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. After incubation, we have to add phenol chloroform isoamyl alcohol of 300 microliter in the ratio of 25 to 24 to 1. As phenol will help to denature the proteins, chloroform will denature the lipids, and isoamyl alcohol will prevent the plasmid DNA by acting as an antifoaming agent. After the addition of phenol chloroform isoamyl alcohol, we have to keep those set up in the centrifuge for 12,000 rpm for 5 minutes. After centrifuge, we have to collect the liquid phase, as the liquid phase contain the DNA and the organic phase will contain the lipid, proteins and other impurities. After collecting the liquid phase, we have to add ice cold isopropanol for the precipitation of plasma DNA. Then the ependroph has to be kept in the -20 for 30 minutes to enhance the precipitation of plasmid DNA. After the incubation, keep for centrifugation at 12,000 rpm for 10 minutes. Then discard the supernatant using the pipette. Then add 500 microliter of 70% ethanol to eliminate the solvation shell that surrounds the DNA. After adding ethanol, keep the ependroph for centrifugation at 12,000 rpm for 5 minutes. Then discard the supernatant and completely dry the tube. Then keep the tubes in dry bath at 45 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes to vaporize the ethanol. After 20 minutes, add TE buffer for the elution of plasmid and store the tube in -20 degrees Celsius for further usage. Next, we have to prepare 1% agarose gel. Then we have to load the plasmid with the dye for the visibility of bands. After the running of electrophoresis, the gel has to be kept in the UV transilluminator for the visibility of bands. This shows that the good concentration of plasmid is isolated.